funny story. When I first got with No Limit, I had a show with Mystical. When they told me it was me and Mike, I'm like, yeah, boy, it's about to go down. So I had $500, I think, to my name. I went and bought the best weed that I could find in the scatter sites in LGS. Man, I bought the weed. I had no money, went on the road, and I couldn't wait to smoke with Mystical. You know what I'm saying? It's like Devin the Dude. If you know Devin, I'm going to smoke with Devin. Snoop, I'm going to smoke with Snoop. You know? Man, Mystical told me when I got around him, I said, hey, bro, look, I got some fire. You know, he said, I don't smoke no more. I looked at myself in the mirror when I went back to the hotel room. I said, so I done spent all my money on this shit as I'm rolling it. I spent all my money on this shit, and this motherfucker don't even want to smoke with me. Something wrong. Then I realized, okay, there's certain times that he couldn't smoke because there was situations going on. Now I learned my lesson. You know what I'm saying? I ain't buying no weed for no more rappers.
Smoke their weed.
Smoke that weed myself.
Yeah, that's funny. No, Mike,
good dude,
you know, he's a great dude, man, and it just sucks that, you know, I feel like he just keeps getting put into the wrong situation, because if he got into the right hands, Mike could have a humongous career.
Right.
Remember that song when I said, some old glitter face, blue hair funny? She was a fan.
Oh.
Yeah, she was a fan, but you know, when her approach, the way she came at me the wrong way. You know what I mean? She came at me like on some tough guy shit, and she was gonna get her brothers to beat me up and all that type of shit. I was like, well, damn. She said, I love you. I'm like, baby, I can't take no picture with you right now. I'm getting ready to, this outfit I got on, I'm getting ready to shoot a video in it. They told me don't take no pictures, and she ain't gonna hear it. So she cursed me out, and I had to make a song about her. And she sued me. So that's one of my illest fan experiences ever. I'll never forget it.
That's a pretty bad one,
and
man.
She was from New Orleans.
And she from New Orleans?
Yeah.
Oh, man. Well, that's why she wanted the picture so bad.
Yeah.
And it's really a family. Like the drug business, the people around, they consider themselves family. I mean, once you've kind of bypassed a certain spectrum in their world, like it's kind of a close-knit family, right?
Well, and it was also, you know, Pablo Escobar, Rick Ross. These were guys that were just my friends.
Right.
They weren't Rick Ross or Pablo Escobar the way the world knew them.
Right.
Plus, I was friends with them before what the world knew.
I was going to say, the world didn't know them yet.
Yeah. So, and then because I continued to be this mascot even getting older, I was the only girl at the table.
Right.
Because they knew I was cool.
Right.
They knew I partied. They knew that I would keep my mouth shut,
right,
no matter what. And surprisingly, they always listened to any advice that I would have to give or was asked to give. And sometimes, and many times, they listened to me, because these are all Latino guys from countries where they could buy themselves out of anything. You know,
right.
They were the leaders in their field, in their countries.
Bigger than the government.
But they never would be aware of the U.S. government laws. And I was always had one foot in that door,
right,
keeping them, look, y'all got to be cool here. You can't do this. You can't do that.
Right.
So
a little bit of an insider.
And as long as they kept me happy,
right. You were almost doing journalism for them.
Yeah, it was like
in
a
a
PR.
Sense,
yeah,
you were giving them advice, and
it really was. Yeah.
But do you hear now that there's this thing they keep talking about, how the moon has its own moon?
I recently saw videos on TikTok. I have to keep saying TikTok because they're trying to get rid of it because it's very informant right now. I seen a video where they showed like it was two moons.
Mm-hmm.
I know the thing with the face by the moon. All those things are fake. I was just telling you just now that it's no way possible that right now we go outside, the sun is out, but we can still see the moon. On the other side of the world, the moon's supposed to be over there right now, but we see it outside.
Right.
That's how I know the earth is flat. They've been lying to us for a long time. I truly do feel like we never really been out of space. I don't want to lie, y'all. I do. All the videos they have shown me from supposed to we walked on the moon and all these things. I just saw India, even China in them videos, and it just looks so crazy and so fake. But I say that because reading is very fundamental, you guys. Only thing I can do is read. I read so much, and there's only so many books you can get, and then you can ask and request certain stuff. And I sat up in there, and I just wanted to know more about the planet I was on. I wanted to know more about just God and all these different religions, like how all it started, and so many different things. When I found out that the Crusade and the Catholic Church is what started religion, and I'm sorry, people who's Catholic, but I found out that y'all are the new Romans. Y'all still, that's the Romans. Like the Romans became the Pope, and
Right.
I read this in books that they're in the library, and they don't put a lot of this stuff online because to them that's too much information. Back then, when they gave us this information, they didn't realize how essential it would be now for us to
Right.
figure out everything.
Right.
We're to some people when they say, "Oh man, you too woke, man, you worried about the wrong thing." No, you're not woke enough to understand that there are aliens right here on Earth. The grays that people see and people have seen, because I truly believe in it. The center of the Earth they have made us believe for ever, long as I was a kid. On the wall they had Earth, and they have a core in the middle of the Earth, and all these different things. It took me to read a book to find out that the center of the Earth is not no core. It's water, it's land, it's places where other humanoid creatures, people, whatever, live. They still have people that's 4 feet, 5 feet that lives, that they used to hunt. They still around. People have been seeing them on trails. They have videos. They can't make these things up. They have tribes that still live on islands where they never ever seen
anything.
or know they
Right.
living in the ice age.
Right.
Those things are still happening even right here in America. They closed off the Grand Canyon because they found out all the truth. You go to the Grand Canyon and you couldn't deny it because they had pictures and the man put it in books. Books that they don't have online when you Google it or you just got to buy it. They don't
Right.
have it where you can just go read it now.
Right.
Like they got everything else that's free. These books tell you what these people seen. America we never been to Egypt, right? Everything in the Grand Canyon is all Egyptian writing. Everything. And this is books that I read. No one didn't tell me this. It's not TikTok, YouTube.
Right.
This is me reading.
Yeah.
In the center, the Greys, they stay in the center of the Earth. Yes, they do have reptilians. These are things that I read. And to understand that, you just be like, man, I just read that book. Man, I don't believe in none of that stuff, whatever. That man can't make this up. Do you understand the mind is a terrible thing to waste?
Kendrick Lamar for the Super Bowl. Yay, nay.
Yeah.
Don't tell me you want a Lil Wayne. Lil Wayne can go on stage and rap.
I disagree with you on that. He's a rock star in a sense of he wants to come out and smash a guitar, ride a skateboard, do all kinds of different stuff going on in the middle of the Super Bowl
I
and
missed that.
perform the whole time. That can be Lil Wayne 100%.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
No, I saw him at Essence, was just up there
Well,
rapping.
so that's my point is I think he's falling off on how he does his show. But at one point, he was coming out as that type of icon rock star. My only problem with the Kendrick situation, this is New Orleans. When these Super Bowls now go to these towns, they get the essence of the towns that perform for the most part.
For the most part.
Atlanta gets Outkast.
LA got the whole
LA
Dr.
got the
Dre,
whole
50
Dr.
Cent
Dre,
thing, yeah.
Where's ours?
So you wanted Lil Wayne.
I don't know.
And that there's still greatness in that, but like the world has evolved, like we have evolved as a people, as a culture. So it's like, what more do we have to give to people? And the world has moved. Like there's a lot of people, brass bands aren't unique to here anymore. Right. There's brass bands winning Grammys in other places, countries, cities. And so as the world catches on and for lack of better words, starts jockeying and exploiting what we do, how do we evolve and still push come on. How do we push the culture forward but still kind of pay homage to that stuff? Like how do we have ideas like the Flag Boy is where like, yes, we're doing traditional, but we also are implementing hip hop. You know, the Bo Dallas is traditional Indian, but also implementing some R&B and blues. Like, how are we doing ideas like that are like pushing it forward? Because if not, then it's just gonna get stale.
Where's our Afrobeat? That's what like
Come on, man.
Where's our Afrobeat?
Come on, man. I know V-Script is doing some real cool stuff in that realm now.
I know. He did it all here for the most part. He recorded all that stuff here.
That's needed.
Yeah, it is needed. I agree.
It's needed, man. And it's culturally, historically, it's like, duh.
Right.
This is where all of that kind of meshed in a lot of different ways. Those cultures, a lot of them stepped foot for the first time.
With every law that's passed, with every decision that's made, like, culture needs to be at the table, and like a conversation has to be had as to how it affects us, right? Because before you know it, New Orleans will be Disney World,
right?
And the culture that people think they're coming to get won't be here.
Right.
We're already not like participating in the billions of dollars that's coming through.
Yeah, no, I agree. Well, I mean, even as a whole society, because I'm born and raised here as well.
Yeah.
I mean, we have not been the same since Katrina in a culture sense, and we lost so much of the culture by people being shipped out and moved all over the country, as well as then all the big corporation money coming in, and I mean. The amount of franchises that popped up food chain wise since Katrina, it was nuts. When I was a kid, we had a few, but we also ate mostly at local places. And now it's all corporations and big hedge funds, and even downtown, all the hotels were owned by Joe Yeager and the burger companies, and my grandfather participated in some of that stuff, and like people that were from here and cared about the tourism and built things for the city to help bring people here and do things for the businesses. Hedge funds don't care about that. Hedge funds from Chicago don't care about what happens with the culture. All they care about is the numbers and the brand on the flagship on the building. So it's sad because I do believe we lost a lot of that.
I found out me and Tank shared a mutual friend. Tank dodged me for like a year. But I used to send like these inspirational quotes out to my friends, and he was like, I think you should start sending these to Tank. And I was like, that's kind of weird. She don't know me. But I started sending her messages, and she responded one day. She quit her job, and she was like, I just quit my job. I needed this message.
Wow.
You want to go to the movies? And I was like, oh, that's my way in. And it's kind of been full throttle since then. We started hanging out as friends, and people would ask her when she was gonna put out her album, and for some reason she would look at me and be like, when we gonna put out the album? I'm like, I don't know. But
so this story started way back in when, huh?
Yeah, 2009.
Wow.
Actually, and we put out Tank's first project in 2010.
Wow, that's awesome. How would you explain the mixture that you've created, which is between
music and poetry? Mm-hmm. It's spiritual, because something will literally whisper in my ear when to sing it and when to speak it like it's a poem. It's just one could be, if the poem chooses to be the poem, the song chooses to be the song, and when I'm on stage, they can be both.
So I was going to ask you, how much is written and how much is improv?
It's all written.
Okay.
And then when I get up there, I'll it's just like as simple as one of the poems there says, I thought I wanted more. I'm not sure if breaking up settled the score or opened the door. Now I'm even more upset than I was before. Right. It's a lyric. At first I was like, I want to sing. Then I thought, I don't have no lyrics. And then I went, wait a minute. Aren't words just lyrics without melody? I said, if that's the case, I have a million songs.
They have a million songs. And I one of the things that I love about music is that in my opinion, there is no end to the learning process of music. And in blending things like spoken word into popular music, I feel like it's such a New Orleans, like,
it is.
Like powerful moment. Like we will We will bring music to anything.
We really will. And they don't like that. Guess what? They don't like that. Oh, they don't like that.
Really?
Ooh.
Really?
It makes them confused. They say, what are you doing? Is it poetry? Is it rap? Are you singing? What are you doing here? I don't even think that you should be even considered for that Grammy because you're singing. But I'm like, where I'm from, people sing all the time. Where I'm from, children sing on the corner. Where I'm from, the brass band can't even sing, but they singing.
Right.
And they playing. I'm like, it's just where I'm from. It's just inside of us. We sang during the second line. Even if you can't sing, you singing.
You singing,
It's
right.
it's my culture. I'm not trying to confuse y'all. I'm not trying to slide my music in with my poetry. This is just who I am. It's my culture. It's where I'm from. We sing.
Right.
Even Sonny Patterson said, you walking through the second line. It's hard just walking. But put that music in that beat. Put that music in. And now you could go a little longer. Now you can walk a little longer. Not 3 blocks ain't so long. It's just what we are. But people they confused by it and they don't like it. I think it's the reason why people take from New Orleans and then they just leave the rest of it.
Then they leave, yeah.
I got caught up in having a studio and nobody else of my peers had one. So that kind of like deterred me from just strictly doing production and start being an engineer. So that's how I come to record Magnolia Slim first.
Okay.
BG first. Lil Wayne first.
Gotcha.
You know, I'm the first person that recorded these guys professionally. And I ain't even know that until a couple of years ago. I'm like, man, I was the first person that recorded all these cats like professionally. Like,
that's crazy.
Came to my studio, like, and I like that's crazy. I had to think about it, like, because I did the Lil Wayne and Bee Gees album,
right?
And I did Magnolia Slim. You Want It, I Got It. I think that was the name of it.
Okay, yeah.
I did those albums like early on, like, and I probably would say, as they were learning, I was learning.
Right.
We all was just in there learning at the same time. And I didn't know what I was doing. I don't think they knew what they was doing. But we just creative, making things happen.
100%. They were just jumping in the studio spitting words out. Like they had no idea what was getting ready to happen.
Man, Lil Wayne was real Lil Wayne.
The real Lil Wayne.
Yes.
That's funny, man.
Yeah.
So for me, there is no separation between the music and justice.
Yeah, well, hip hop is social justice.
It is an inherently political act, and any form, in the context of this country specifically, any form of Black American music, Brown American music, Indigenous music is an inherently political act because it was born and forged in the context of white supremacy and slavery and Jim Crow and abhorrent treatment, genocide, etc.
I agree with you, but I'm going to push back a little bit on new hip hop because I agree with you on hip hop that I grew up listening to. I'm born in 85, so the 90s, the early 2000s, that hip hop was social justice. It was telling you about what their situations. It was trying to teach you about things. There was a movement behind it. I don't agree with that anymore. I think new hip hop is stupid and not truly engaging with the world. It's more clickbait and trying to become famous than it is actually telling a story. I'm not saying that there aren't any artists that are telling a story, because there is, but there's very few, and it's getting smaller and smaller and smaller.
I would say that that's always been the case. Big Daddy Kane's making records about, partying and fucking, and at the same time, quote unquote, conscious rap is being released.
Yeah,
I think every genre, every era, I would say.
I just feel like the storytelling's getting less and less and less.
Kendrick Lamar is the #1 artist on the fucking planet.
Yeah,
and
but there's one that's.
But he's not though. He's representative. He's the most successful one. But
I don't
there
see.
are endless amounts of hip hop artists that are making exactly the same kind of music that you fell in love with. The difference is today that we have access to so much more shit that is just completely poured out onto our algorithm, onto our radars or whatever. It is so much easier to be inundated with all of these other things that were just not as easily accessible as back then. So it seems like there's more of it, but I don't know that that's necessarily the case.
I agree with you, but I also think it has to do with the labels.
Well, fuck the labels for sure.
But
yeah.
It's what they're pushing. They're not pushing the story. So that direct access to the A&R or to the publicist or to the label is where I feel like we really lack in a sense of where we're at.
Yeah, definitely. I frequently hear people here talk about, how can we be more like Nashville? How can we be more like Atlanta, Austin, New York, blah, blah, blah. And I hate when people say it like that because I have a lot of good friends in Nashville and Austin and a lot of these other places, and their music cities are great, but they have their own problems. In Nashville, they're up there being like, how can we be more like Austin?
Yep.
Austin's like, how can we be more like LA? So
because the corporate system doesn't fit in creativity.
Totally.
So it's a very hard balance.
Absolutely.
And that's why people, in my opinion, left cities like LA to go be creative.
Yeah.
And they left these big city moments to go be creative somewhere that they just felt the juices out of, know? New Orleans has always been one of those places, if you look back in time and albums that were created, New Orleans was a part of a lot of the stuff that we heard.
Absolutely. I mean,
doesn't necessarily mean they were all recorded here.
Yeah.
But they got a lot of creativity from down here.
Yes, New Orleans is the birthplace of American music. I don't care what anyone says. But
Amen.
But we need to make sure that we are figuring out how New Orleans is not just the place where music came from, but also the place where music is going to.
Right.
That is something that I say all the time. But to your point about, being connected to these other parts of the industry and these other things that are happening up in New York, I don't think we should try to be like them, but we should be looking at them and we should be talking to them. We should be exchanging with them. And I would love to see more of that here.